Hey, Unpaid Lunch listeners, you can find us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and ad-free as a Prime member on Amazon Music. Find us on social medias and YouTube at Unpaid Lunch. On your break today, Russ stops by to talk about tattooing people and touring with his band. Andy P is missing, and Rhino's the only one of us with a tattoo. All right, time to clock out for lunch. Welcome to Unpaid Lunch, and thanks for spending your break with us. I'm Heavy D. Andy P is off tonight, but Rhino is still here. Say hi to the Hustlers, fellas.
No quips about me being fat or dead or having anxiety attacks or anything today.
I was trying to be nice for once, honestly, and then Andy got sick, so I thought maybe...
So I just got to step into his de facto position where I didn't get made fun of. So do we get to make fun of him now?
I'm not making fun of Russell.
I can take it.
Yeah, I know, but I don't have any reason to. It's fun. I mean, I'm with Rhino all the time.
Yeah,
see you like once every 4 years or something for some reason.
3.5.
It's okay. I'll close a business in Whitesburg soon.
I'm just emotionally damaged by proximity.
So I got to keep you on your toes. I think if nobody's abusing
I'm diabetic.
you,
I might not have those toes much longer.
Oh, God. You're bitching about your sugar again. When you get on this road. In studio today, Russell is with us. World famous Russ. I don't know if you know do you know you're world famous?
I was unaware.
I think he's pretty damn famous.
They don't know either, I don't think. Friend of the show from way back. One of my favorite artists of all time. Musician, but also a tattoo artist by trade.
It's me. That's the things I do.
That's the thing I do. Trades action figures also is almost...
I like
it's
action
almost
figures.
Yeah. Your boy loves action figures and guitars. That's kind of his thing.
Just to call it out, like walking in here today, like this place looks like World War VII.
Well, it does.
You got so many people in this house.
Man, fuck that. I can't help it. Like, people
like a
just
bunch
show
of squatters.
It's because my wife makes food, and then people are like, there's going to be food, and then there's a bunch of kids, and then my kids think that they have friends over, which are people that really just want to eat the food, and they're not really their friends.
That's 100%.
Anyway.
And I walked in like into the middle of a wiffle ball game, in the middle of like a back living room, stole a ball, struck out your son, and then just ran back here, and then was listening to Russ talk about how this room looks like friggin' The Shining, which has kind of got me a little bit unsettled now.
There's
it's a long room too. It's kind of got that hallway. Oh man!
Wait till you see the twins.
Yeah,
Everything will be jacked.
It's the cats.
They just show up. Russ, how you been? How's it going?
I've been doing good, man.
Been working?
Just working. Yeah.
Drawing on people?
Yep. Yeah.
That's great.
A lot of that.
I do that with like Sharpies.
Yeah, I do too.
But you do that with Sharpies to see if halfway through they're like, nah, you know what? Fuck that needle. I don't want it.
That happens sometimes. People get scared, you know.
Well, it's intimidating.
I don't blame them. They hurt, you know.
Rhino, I don't have any, and if Andy P was here, he don't have any either, which is funny because like he's an artistic dude, so it's surprising that he doesn't have any. I just don't have any because my parents don't have any.
Well, I think the main thing with you and Andy both is like I feel like if you both sat down and tried to decide on what you wanted, it would take 10 years for you to figure it out.
That's true. Yeah, because I can't. It's because I'm not passionate about anything.
A lot of people do get like I hear that a lot. Feels like, man, I'd love to have one, but it's like I don't know.
Yeah,
what I would get.
What do I care about? Well,
and what they don't know is once they get that first one, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
You're just going to get 157 of them.
I have more stupid, not meaningful.
Yeah.
Well, they're meaningful now, but at the time it was just.
But that's where it starts.
Yeah.
Like I'd say, how many people do you see come in and it's just like, give me some random bullshit for the first one?
For the first one, rarely.
That's
the
what
first one's
thinking.
always like, man, this is for my great grandmother. She loved lilies, you know, or something.
Yeah.
Or it's got to have some sort of meaning. And after that, they're like, these are cool as hell, and you really don't have to have.
Can I get a line on my arm?
People's just like, I don't want a skull.
Yeah, look at the skull bullets through.
And then their cousins stand there with him, like, what's that mean to you? He's like, that's a cool skull, man.
Cool fucking skull. I think I get a man.
And see, I'm down for that, you know.
I know some people that like freaking collect them like stuff like well, I've seen some shops actually utilize this trade, but some people collect them like the stickers that you get off a freaking quarter gumball machine.
Oh yeah,
somewhere.
yeah. That's
I've seen some, you know,
get what
your
you
shops,
get machines.
Yeah, those machines that kind of crop up. It's like it becomes impulsive at that point. They're like, I
Mm-hmm.
just really want something. I don't care what it is. Some people find it therapeutic.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I never thought in a million years that I would.
And you fucking love it.
Like the first one I got was relatively big for, you know, like a first tattoo. And I was the same way. It took me like 10 years to finally kind of like settle on something. We had 2 children, named them both.
It was out of spot, you know.
Yeah. Well, both the kids, we had no intention on really naming them after anything related to fire. Like my kids' names are Asher and Ember. Ember and then Ash. So I was like, I want to do something with fire. And that's what kind of drove me towards my first one. But now I'm like, I want like 50, but I'm broke.
Man, if I had enough money, you wouldn't
see any part of your body.
Yeah, I would just be like a comic book walking around or something, you know.
I think money wouldn't be that involved when you're working with a bunch of tattoo artists all the time. You'd be like, here, man, draw me.
Well, it's I always tell people it's like this. It's like if it's like a tattoo from someone I know well, like it's a friend in the industry, I'm basically asking them to either come in early or stay late for no or much less money.
That kind of sucks.
And
yeah,
it's
I
like
get that.
I don't want to do that to nobody. But like the times I've
that
got
makes
tattooed
sense.
by a friend, it's been like, man, we both had a cancellation and it's
Right.
a rainy Wednesday,
Let's fucking do it.
and it's like sit down, you know.
But see, this is why I love having him here, because us looking at it like that through our, you know, glasses is like, oh, you know, it's probably easy. But like I hadn't even thought about the part of like I'm eating this guy's cash flow.
Yeah,
I hadn't even really thought of it.
Yeah,
that
so
way.
like if it's like we have like busier times of the year and then slower times, like during the slower times, it's a lot more likely, you know. And
So
then
speaking
busier
of
times,
that,
it's like,
how busy are you guys right now during tax season?
yeah, that's the big one for the year. You know?
Got my money back. Let me go get a tiger on my back that looks like Jesus.
Yeah, there's at certain times
With Psalms on it.
Psalms
during the
26,
tax
64.
season, you wouldn't believe the amount of messages I get on social media.
Well, that's why
It's
like,
overwhelming.
when I
really.
was going to ask you to come on the show, and I was like, I mean, obviously we talked. Like I looked at our last messages weren't even as long ago as I thought they were. So it was like, but I messaged you and was thinking, man, this motherfucker probably gets so many messages that he don't check them but like once a week. Like,
No, I used to be worse at it because it's so overwhelming.
well,
I
it's
just
overwhelming.
Like,
That's a lot. Yeah,
But now it's like,
because how many of them are series? 4 of them.
a decent amount at this point. A decent amount because
Yeah.
I built up so much clientele.
Oh, it's people that already done it. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, but
people itching.
I can almost just by the verbiage they use weed certain people out
Yeah.
at this point. You know.
Well, it's like the guy that done the one that I have on my left arm. I'm friends with him on Facebook. I also he's got a separate tattoo page that he's
Who
got
is
set
it?
up. I don't know if I should say his name on here.
You can say his name. You're boosting his product. You did really good on. Like he did a good tattoo on you. I think it's gonna be good.
You know what's funny is right now in my mind I'm blank. I can't remember his name right now.
Well, it's okay. We'll say his name's
Oh my
Jimmy.
God, he's in Pikeville.
Okay, I know if you pick.
Liz-
Married to Samantha.
Oh, Shane.
No.
Oh,
Beard, bald.
Bartley.
Richie Bartley.
Oh,
My
yeah.
brain
Richie
was
Bartley,
fried
yeah,
and I
Richie
could not find Richie's
Oh,
name.
yeah, he's
Richie,
fucking great.
if you listen to this, I am so sorry.
He's a good friend of mine.
He's fucking great though.
Oh, yeah.
he's
I love
awesome.
him.
But I cringe
They were at Micro
every
Wrestling
single
the other
time
day.
that I watch him post something on Facebook. Because he'll post something and he's like, hey guys, it's that time of year. It's busy. I have this tattoo page that's separate from my own personal social media.
Oh, yeah.
Please message here. And then on that post within the comments, people's like, hey, you got any bookings open Saturday at 6
Yeah, 'cause
o'clock?
he's
I'm
got-
like, dude, read the
And
content.
he's got like kids in sports and shit and like.
Oh
like,
yeah,
you
Richie,
know,
dude. I'm sorry, I forgot your name. My brain's fried. I've been literally out in the sun coaching baseball day long. I hate my life right now.
Now
Yeah.
it's hard. That's something in the last year or so I've really worked on, like setting boundaries with my work and personal life.
Yeah, sure.
But I'm not a huge fan of social media. So like my
Yeah.
social media
never
presence
were, right?
is my
If you didn't,
your
have,
professional
yeah, if
presence.
you didn't have your
you know.
professional presence, it wouldn't be there. At all,
Yeah, I
really.
would not have Facebook if it were not for my
That
job.
damn toy page though.
That toy page would be the one thing.
keeps
Like
you
I have a
alive.
bunch of friends that are like, man, I'm deleting Facebook, but I'm gonna make a fake one
for that toy page
and just be on the toy page. And I was like,
Listen,
And
you know
that's
what's
smart,
funny?
you
I don't
know?
even trade toys. I don't trade toys with anybody, but you see me comment on there all the fucking
Oh,
time.
yeah.
Like, because I live vicariously, I just don't have anywhere to put toys. I don't have a place to put them.
Put a shelf right
I
there.
don't, man, because I'll just fucking do it, and I don't need to. My wife,
It's a slippery
I don't think
slope.
she's gonna let me have anything else. I'm already into speakers.
That's
I can't
so
be
funny because that literally just brings up a
Man, I
conversation.
love wrestling figures.
We were talking about recording tonight. And I told my wife that Russ was coming on, and we started talking about the bands and stuff, and where you guys tour and do shows together, and the different bands that are involved in it, and it got us talking about Mikey. Shout out Mikey.
Oh yeah, shout out Mikey.
And she's like, one of my favorite things ever is used to, like, every Saturday he would go live on Facebook because he's out somewhere thrifting buying action figures.
Oh, yeah.
She's like, that was my favorite thing in the whole entire world. And then just one day he stopped. And it broke her heart.
Yeah, that crew though is like, I'm like all your crew, like everybody that like hangs out like with that. I'm on like the outside of that looking in because I'm friends with everybody.
Come hang out with us.
I know, man.
We just go to the flea market and hang out.
I know. And you know what's funny? I love the fucking flea market.
Oh, yeah.
When I was unemployed, that's what I did, was sold at the flea market.
Oh, yeah.
And I have in my garage, I have a whole huge gigantic blue tote full of inventory, wrestling figures, and
Well, let's look through them when
yeah,
we get down here. I got
look at that
cash.
Stone Cold sitting over there with the hat on.
Yeah, I see him with the real tree.
Rey Mysterio, maskless. Yeah, shit's legit. We don't play.
I'm buying wrestling figures daily, man.
I know.
So that was one
Come
thing.
on my
Like,
podcast
it
and buy my
pops
action
up
figures.
all the time. This random ass picture of just a Huddle House menu. And it's like it pops up all the time from when me and you used to hit Indian Creek all the time.
Fuck yeah.
There was like one summer where we
That was
hit
the
Indian Creek
best.
every weekend.
Yeah, I love going to the flea market. That's
Man,
like my big, like, man, I'm off on Sundays every week. I'm like,
You know how much money
we'll
I
get
make?
up early
just-
and go to the flea market.
and I know it's frowned upon. Like I know it's like a flea market, like frowned upon thing.
I didn't look at you. I'm sorry. I'm just flailing about
It's like
over
a
here.
flea market frowned upon thing. Is like I would go buy stuff and just resell it, but like
I see people do that all the time, man.
just don't be a fucking idiot. Like I bought like a bunch of those. No joke. When I say a bunch, I bought like 10 Nintendo Game Boy, like the lights that come off the back of the
Oh,
Game Boy
yeah,
and went over
yeah.
top of it. Somebody just had them like in a baggie, and they were 99 cents each.
That's an awesome deal.
And they're like $15 each
Yeah.
online. I was like, I want all these. And she was like, okay, give me just like $4 or $5 for them. I was like, all right, sounds great.
Man, the outside people at the flea market that's not set up permanently, you
Yeah.
know, if you go there early and like, man, I've bought like
Fuck 'em
shoe
up.
boxes full
Fuck 'em
of
up.
NES games for like, they're like, oh, $10 for the whole thing, honey.
Well, we were
I'm like,
talking about Magic,
All right.
and that's the dream, right? Like
yeah,
Magic is
I'm
the
still
dream.
waiting on that shoe box
Oh.
of
Man,
beta.
I've got a buddy that hit
Hey,
it.
let me tell you, he's a fan of the show, and he subscribes to us on Patreon, right? But I'm gonna call him the fuck out. Cameron Vance, one time, Cam,
Yeah,
right?
I know Cam. Yeah. Nice
fucking
guy.
from a flea market, bought a binder of Dual Lands
I hate that.
from a fucking flea market for like $20 or
Oh,
something.
man. So I've been waiting on that since I was 14.
Yeah, and he's the lucky. I was like, motherfucker. Not only is he better at Magic than I am, but he also
He's luckier than you, too.
You see
he's
that all the time.
He's the luckiest motherfucker.
There's a guy that came into UVA,
Thanks for listening, Cam.
was going to school there
Asshole.
and stuff, and played, Friday Night Magic and stuff up there. And, like he came in, he's playing this. I know most people listening to this is not going to understand a word of what I'm saying.
Start
right
talking
now.
about it. Nobody knows what's going on.
But he
Nobody
had this
listens to me anyway.
completely blinged out Jun list in Modern, which, I mean, like 4 full copies of Liliana.
Top
like,
deck in the format.
like
most
this
expensive
thing
deck
was
in the format.
disgusting. And I was like, how in the world did you come up with all this? You being a college student? He said, I got incredibly lucky. Let me show you some pictures. So he was from some place called, I think, Orange, Virginia.
Seems legit.
Never heard of it.
Went out to an estate sale.
Trust it.
Random ass box of Magic cards. He walks up and he's like, how much for this box of cards? They're like, I don't know. What do you think? $50? He said, I don't know. Let me look.
What the fuck?
There's nothing else in the box. But literally the first couple cards he pulled, he said, I will give you $50 for it. Come to find out, there's 9 Mishra's Workshops inside of it.
Oh,
Cute.
my mercy.
Each one of them things at the
ever found
time
one
was
like that?
$2,000 a piece.
Yeah.
So like he literally got enough money from all of this to buy a car and then buy that fully blinged out deck.
Have you ever found anything like in Magic cards?
Not, I mean, nothing crazy.
Yeah.
I've got a few.
Like $3.
Yeah, what was it when they started doing, they have a name now and they're very readily available. They come out with every set. It's like a box of packs. Fat Pack or something. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
So at one point that was kind of new.
Yeah,
I've been at it a while.
Absolutely, I'm with you. It used to be called it used to be called Fat Pack. It used to be called something else. But I know what you're talking about.
But I think it was one of the first Ravnica sets.
Yeah.
This has just been a couple years ago.
Absolutely.
Somebody had bought one of those or multiple of those and then just had all that stuff in one of them. And it was taped up at a vendor's mall for $10.
Oh, fuck yeah.
So I didn't know what was in it. It could have been all basics. I was just like, $10, let's roll the dice.
It's like a
And
scratch off.
I hit some cool stuff, but nothing like, that story.
Shocks, that's hot.
It brings up another
That's the
thing.
best I ever done.
I randomly buy any pile of cards. It's like $5 or $10. Like I just can't look at them first. I'm like, all right.
I also got the Betrayers of Kamigawa Precon with the JIT in it.
Oh yeah, the
at a
one.
junk store once for like $5.
That happened all the time. That used to happen all the time.
Yeah, but that's only two things of note.
So we're talking about that's older than
that's older than your skill.
duration into Magic. We're talking about wrestling figures, Magic cards, and stuff like that. For your art, do you ever take trade?
I've been known to on a few occasions.
It's like, listen, if you can give me like a 2-hour session, will you take this?
I had one buddy in particular, longtime friend. Like, I don't want to say he was going through a rough patch, but it's somewhat rough.
We've all been there.
It was one of those things where it's like he didn't need food to eat, but for him to get something like on the extra side, like a tattoo. Yeah, I traded him for some cards, Yeah. So I do that sometimes with buddies.
You're kind of like a casino, though. Like you get people hooked. It's like, oh, this is really good. This is really great.
Sometimes fine instruments, I'll do a deal.
I'm not, like I said, I'm not passionate about anything, so I guess that's why I don't have any tattoos. But I think if I got quit your job tattooed on my wrist,
I think that would be epic.
that's something I'm passionate about.
I think it'd be epic.
Would you, if you knew me, wouldn't you think the one thing I'm passionate about is not working?
What I would love to do is this man do it and me videotape it for content.
Well, yeah, I'll do
and
that.
watch you cry.
I'm down.
Yeah,
Because I think it would.
Ain't it gonna hurt really bad on my wrist?
The wrist is a little tender.
Yeah, I'm a fucking pussy, but I'll do it. It's fun.
But, I mean, it wouldn't take a whole long time, so...
Yeah, I just want it like...
By the time you realize it hurt really bad...
I just want you to just dry rub the shit out of it.
I could do that for sure.
Time. Like, just make it as painful as humanly possible.
Finish up, put a little rubbing alcohol.
Is it because that thing I said about your head being too big?
Yes. 100%.
That's okay. I can take it.
I know there's probably like on seasons, off seasons, like you said, like right now, tax season's, a big prevalent time, things like that. Like, how many hours a week are you putting inside the shop, outside the shop?
Well, I do a thing. I've been at it for a while now, so I stay fairly consistent throughout the year, even though there's times where it backs up a little bit more. But I try to work a set amount, whether I'm real busy or not. So sometimes, like, I'll do what I call like extracurricular stuff. Like recently, I just I don't have them put online for sale yet, but I made some shirts with a design and my name on it.
Dude, I'm all over it.
If I get downtime, then I try to work on something like a painting or something, or paint some tattoo designs, like a flash sheet. So if I'm real busy tattooing all the time, I'm doing that. But if I'm not per se, I try to put that same amount of hours in on like
building
other
the brand.
stuff.
That's
building
awesome.
the
Yeah,
brand.
working on the brand. That's kind of
But
like
usually I'm 55 to 60 hours is about what I like to put into my craft and career.
Yeah, and I guess it really.
And after that, it's like it's off.
It's killer.
And I have to make myself do that because used to I would work a 10 or 12 hour shift, come home, do my drawings for tomorrow's appointments, and then I would make coffee and paint until I could not see anymore.
You're waking me up on so much of it though. Like, I guess I don't think about like how you're prepping for the next day, right? By being like,
So like at this point in my career, I'm sort of doing mainly custom work.
Yeah, sure.
So every tattoo is, one of a kind to an extent.
You don't have anybody walking in and telling you they want to sculpt anymore.
It happens once in a while. Like, sometimes people are like, man, I want to come in on the third Friday of this month. I'll be free. Just got paid. And I just want you to do a cool skull.
Yeah.
And sometimes that means I just find like a vintage one from like the 60s and sort of
And
spruce
fuck with
it
it,
up
yeah.
and just make it my own.
which is cool.
And that's some people like that, the really like just the
I love
traditional
that.
look.
Like I like that traditional.
And
And
some
then
people want really realistic. Some people want,
Yeah.
just black and gray.
So do you just fuck
something.
with like? Do you do every like all that? I guess I mean.
What's your niche? Like, what do you enjoy?
Yeah, my favorite stuff is probably traditional stuff.
That's what I thought.
That's the vibe I get off looking
because
at
that's
you.
where you learned from, right?
Yeah, that's sort of my wheelhouse from when I started. But
I think that's kind of what your shop's known for.
yeah,
is the traditional
yeah,
aspect.
the real colorful stuff.
Yeah,
But
I fucking love that.
last few years,
John, all of you guys, like you
Yeah.
kind of have that niche.
yeah, and then the guy who actually taught John's like very well known for like really colorful tattoos.
Yeah. I remember John posted like a thing about that one time.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
like
Big
an
Daddy
article or
Trey. Shout
something.
out
I
to
posted an
Trey.
article about that shit.
Yeah, he was on like Ink Master and stuff. So
That's what I
So
thought.
that's
Like
awesome.
he's like
Cool.
boss.
Yeah, and then the guy who taught him was he passed away this year. He was the oldest living tattooer in Kentucky.
Well, the lineage.
And he was actually like an actual old school guy.
The lineage is solid, right? Because John is like,
and the guy who
pretty
taught
famous
him,
himself, like-
is
like
it's-
John's not like not holding up his end of that. Like
Oh,
he's
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
fucking popular.
Yeah.
He's pretty great.
Haywood actually is world famous.
Right.
Yeah.
He's literally world famous. I tell people all the time, like, it's funny, like, randomly be like talking about shit he's been in. And I was like, we'll listen to Tower Shoulders. And I was like, I know the fucking on that album.
Yeah,
Listen,
No, dude.
John's just so cool in his own like enigmatic way.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, I
he's
remember
pretty much my stepdad.
His wife and kids are cool too. Like,
God.
like his wife and kids are
The
cool too.
coolest thing I ever seen in my life is we're going up and down Main Street where the shop is. It was Halloween. It was like a trunk or treat type thing. Everybody's going all the way up and down Main Street, hitting the stores, hitting things. And John is wearing like a very steampunk-esque like plague doctor mask.
Oh yeah.
Has a stool set up and has literally just playing a violin, not talking to anybody.
Hard
Just
ass.
playing the creepiest shit I've ever heard in my life. And I was like, I don't even like. I got my kid right here that I'm supposed to be taking trick or treating. I'm just about to let my like 5-year-old take off because I just want to listen to John.
Russell has famous
Played it.
acquaintances.
Oh yeah. Plenty,
Like
yeah.
famous. I wish I was a famous acquaintance of yours.
You're pretty famous, man. You got a podcast.
You're pretty famous. You're on my podcast.
I made it.
Fucking Russ made it. I feel like the last like 3 times we hung out though, I actually hung out with your wife when I hung out with you.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like because you're a busy motherfucker.
Yeah, well, I
And
just
I'm usually there just
60 hours
hanging
a
out.
week, man. And that's not even like he says. It's not even counting the prep work. That's insane.
I don't want to work 60 hours, don't you?
I don't want to work 6
I
anymore.
enjoy it.
Yeah,
So
I guess it's different, right? Because it doesn't feel like work to you
Yeah.
all the time.
At times, it
I was
does.
gonna say all the
Certain
time it doesn't feel
aspects
like
of
work,
it,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah, the prep work and shit, like where
Yeah.
you're just like, oh, I got to do this. Because it gets tedious, right? Because you're doing, like, I mean, lines are lines, right?
Yeah, yeah. And really, one of the worst parts is like answering messages because it's like,
Well, just
there's
get
only
real
so.
fucking famous and you don't have to answer your own.
Yeah, I've thought about before being like,
You could hire Eric.
I wonder how you could hire some. We tried that. Now, Eric was awesome to have.
Yeah,
around.
for answering messages and shit.
But after the flood, he was just like, I ain't working no more.
He was, yeah, he was,
I was like, I
kinda
feel
got-
off the
he
grid.
He literally kind of got the mentality after the flood where he was like, fuck it, I'm not going to do anything anymore. I'm just going to grow shit and all this swamp water.
Yeah.
Fun.
And he seems to be very happy
And that's
to do it,
that's
you
where
know?
he's supposed to be.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he's doing good. Shout out
Just
Eric.
call him.
I don't think he'll listen or ever hear this, so you'll never know what's going on.
So I feel like one thing, like I know you say you love what you do, but I know there's got to be things that's just like, like
Yeah, I
how
mean-
many times can you do like the same tattoo like in one week where you're just like by the time you get to like the 4th or 5th, and I've seen like it's all over TikTok and stuff from like all these tattoo artists and stuff. It's like Jesus Christ, if I do one more line or like one more rose like on a hand.
Yeah.
Like, is there any like does those types of things after a while kind of like wear on your patience, or is it kind of like
A
works
little
work?
bit. They wear on me some, but it's one of those things where it's like, I've been at it like 10 years now. So like stuff comes in waves of popularity, like different images and placement.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
The thing that gets me usually is like I said, I try to do like custom to an extent. So each piece is one of a kind, but like whatever the image is that's popular at some point, how can I do something original with this design? It's kind of maddening.
Draw a fucking anchor.
Well,
There's
that's-
an anchor with
yeah.
a kraken coming off of it. It's an anchor on fire.
Yeah, it's like, but then I'm also like, yeah, I could think of that, but like, I'm one of the things that's kind of hard is you're restricted by, what they want.
Their taste.
Sure.
Because it's, I mean, I try, you pick it, I stick it, you know, kind of thing.
Well, that's one of those things
Love
too.
it.
Like I've talked to another friend that's an artist, and one of his biggest pet peeves is someone coming in and saying, "You see this picture of this person's tattoo they got on their arm? I want this exact thing."
Oh,
He's like, "I'm not doing that.
That's
Yeah.
literally plagiarism.
I'm not doing that." Now, like if you want, like you just said, kind of put my own spin on it and
Yeah.
kind of take my own objective towards it. That's one thing. But like, I mean, I get it. Like people kind of want what they want. They'll find things that they enjoy. But like one of my biggest things, I've got the one that I want, but there's at some point where I just want to walk into a tattoo shop and say, and I ain't got there yet, but I want to get to that level of trust and just say, have at it.
Oh,
I don't give a
yeah.
shit. Here's the money.
How do you prep for that?
That is the hardest thing anybody can
I
do.
guess it would, right?
Does it
Because-
happen often?
Well, because your mind's going to change like halfway through it. You can be like, no, I don't like that. And if you were doing art, you would just, fuck with it and change
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Well, like it's a weird thing because there's two routes with that proposition. You know, I've had many people be like, "Just do your own thing, do whatever you want."
Yeah, but they don't have the same taste as you, though. Like, it's not like
Yeah.
the same
Doesn't
shit as
matter.
you
Well,
do.
that's what they're signing up for,
Yeah.
though.
Well, there's two ways it goes. There's one route which is awful. It's like do whatever you want, and I'm like, awesome, man. I'll draw something up, or I have like some stuff I've drawn in the sketchbook.
Just
I'm
a
like,
cabbage
check
head.
us out, and then they're like, actually, and they pull out their phone and they have what they want picked
what the
out.
fuck?
You
Now,
know,
there is the.
You already done double. You done
it's
double
like
work.
it's like, why didn't you just show me that?
What do you
You know,
do?
I wasn't going to be
Yeah.
able to mind read and get inside your phone. But then the other side is like, people be like, do whatever you want, and it's like I know them and I've tattooed them a bunch,
Sure.
and I'm like, awesome. And then I'm sitting there like,
I feel a whole lot
maybe
like-
just a skull. You know, it's like my mind goes so crazy that it's like, well, no, let's just
I
stay
feel
safe.
a whole lot
You
like
know?
that.
data drunk. Like, it's processing so
if I
quick.
was like, Russell, just do whatever you want on this arm tattoo.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a chance in the world that it wouldn't be something about magic.
For you, yeah.
Right, that's
It'd
what I'm saying.
probably
If
have to be
I was
something.
like, you do this, you'd be like, all right, here's
It's
the fucking
actually
Shonda's
just
specs.
it's just an onslaught smother. the whole card,
Dude.
not even just the art.
Onslaught smother would be fucking awesome on the onslaught smother. Wouldn't it be great?
That'd be great.
Oh, Ryan's dying.
I'm dying.
Oh,
I got tickled.
I actually didn't think you died this episode. I thought we were going to go all the way through it.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Do you have a favorite tattoo you've ever done? I guess that kind of alienates people, but it feels like, if you like a masterpiece.
There's not like a one in particular, but there's like a little group that's like even from like not necessarily my first couple years, but like maybe 3 or 4 year era till now. Like there's a group of tattoos in my head that pop up that's like very much what I consider good amongst
Right.
any standards. You know, it's like custom drawing, unique color palette. You
Yeah.
know, and it's like I can see like growth in it from
That
where I
makes
was
sense.
at.
No,
you
that
know,
makes sense. Absolutely fucking
This
makes
is going to
sense.
sound like the weirdest thing in the world, but this is where my mind kind of goes and what it kind of equates to. It's almost like it's in essence kind of like a writer. Like you're a creator.
Yeah.
So like, not, we're talking about The Shining a while ago. My favorite writer is Stephen King, but like me, what I'm picturing when you're saying that, it's like literally King going through and writing, the Dark Tower series.
yeah.
It's like you watching your stuff evolve
Yeah,
over
yeah.
time, like as different novels,
Yeah.
released into the
For
set.
sure.
I think that's so cool.
Yeah. And one thing that keeps me kind of going is like, obviously my first 10 tattoos were not as good as my last 10 that I've done
Oh,
this
sure.
week,
But are your next 10 going to be better than the last 10?
Yeah. So I
you
was
done?
like, this whole time out of 10 years, it's like every tattoo I do, it's like, I want to do the next one better.
Incremental improvement.
Yeah.
Well, that's the only way you can get better. Right?
Yeah, and it's one of those things I fell in, and this was with anything in life, hobbies, jobs, watching anything on TV. It's like you get in slumps with it.
Oh,
you know?
yeah. Fuck
And it's
yeah.
like you don't even realize you're in those till you're out. And it's like
You're like, oh,
I can
that was
see.
shitty work.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't call it shitty, but it's like it wasn't like
Yeah.
going forward. It was plateauing. You
Right.
know.
You ever have those times where you just have like a creative block? It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
my brain's just done. Like I can't comprehend, can't cut, chop anything.
Yeah, well, that's like earlier when I was talking about like working 10 hours, coming home, drawing for the next day, and then
Burned
painting.
out.
And then it's like,
And you were involved in the catastrophic event here. Like heavily.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
lost most of what you own.
I don't know. It's
Yeah,
something we talk all the time. This is probably like the second or third episode where we talk about the catastrophic event, but to kind of add color to that, like when you hear like 100-year floods, Like we got hit by a 100-year flood. Like something you would never understand or never be able to live, like expect until. The only thing I would equate it to is like people that live through hurricanes.
Yeah, yeah.
That's really kind of what it was kind of like.
And it's true with everybody's living, right? Like, I mean, like everybody's job is affected by it, especially like the tattoo shop that you worked in.
Yeah, I lost my house and my job in the same night.
All of it, right.
You know, so.
It hit the shop pretty hard, didn't it?
Yeah, we're very close to having it back open.
So, like, I know where you live, and like, when it happened, I was immediately thinking, like, because none of us knew what the fuck was going on, obviously, at the time, you know.
And no service or anything.
Right, but I remember
We
thinking...
were cut off from the world.
I remember thinking, like, all you boys down that way, I was like, oh, fuck, you know, are they good? Because I know you live, like, I knew where you lived, and, like, I was super worried at the time because, you know, your kid fucking... Because, I mean, we'd have been in bed if I wasn't up, like, walking around.
I was asleep. My neighbor was beating on my bedroom
that's what
window.
I'm saying, and I know you got your kid and shit, and that's why I was like...
And actually, my neighbor's beating my window, and I heard him holler, like I was asleep, you know, and I heard him holler. I was like, "Oh my god, my house is on fire!"
Oh, sure.
Because why else would my neighbor be beating on my window, telling me to get out of my house? You know,
maybe would have been better.
Yeah, like, it might have been. Yeah,
but yeah, that was, and then doing any work in that time period, right? Especially when like you don't have a job where you have a paycheck.
Yeah, it's day to day.
It's not like you can't fucking put in PTO for 12 hours,
especially in your industry. Like PTO is not really a thing.
Well, and nobody had any money because everybody's lost everything they owned.
Like every business did.
It's like everybody had an extra.
You're almost kind of like a contractor at that point.
Yeah, I'm on the books. I'm an independent contractor.
Yeah. 1099 shit.
Yeah.
Get fired. Yeah.
So like, if I don't work, I don't get paid. And if I take off work, I don't get paid.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I can't get fired. That's one beauty of it.
I could draw cats.
Yeah.
Could just do that.
Yeah.
Hey, Unpaid Lunch listeners. This episode is brought to you by Meth AM. Want to chase the dragon, but also be able to chase your kids? From the makers of Heroin PM comes a way to keep getting high like you want, but more discreetly. And with a dash of caffeine and aspirin to stay on top of your day. No more withdrawals just because you have to be at work or a kiddo's event. We want to make sure your craving is satisfied even if your family isn't. Side effects include, well, it's meth, so meth side effects. Spoon not included. Now back to the show. Welcome back in the studio. We're here with Russ still here talking about him putting ink on people and stabbing them.
Ian.
To be fair.
Oh, in them.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
If you put it on them, it won't stay.
I guess that...
You're still stuck on that Sharpie
Are we still
shit,
talking
man.
about tattoos?
He's still talking about the Sharpies.
Fuck. Yeah, you're right.
Like, I love that you say we're talking about tattoos, but God, we literally talked about everything in the world in the first 30 minutes of that.
We're talking about Onslaught Uncommon.
Oh, fucking
We was talking about magic, 100-year floods.
It's okay. I think we talked a decent amount about tattoo. I got one last tattoo question, right? I guess that's not necessarily true. I don't know how many more I might ask, but I wish we had a sponsor for this question. But, I don't have a sponsor for it. Do you?
No.
The last question? No.
I don't know what the question is, so no, I can't
That's what I'm
answer.
saying. I don't know why you're yelling at me. If you could tattoo anybody ever, alive or dead, who would you tattoo?
Oh, this is epic.
Oh man,
Is that a good question?
That's a good one.
Is that a fucking good question?
That's a very good
question. All right.
Man, I don't know. I'd probably have to go with just like somebody I know that's passed, just to hang out with them again, probably.
Oh,
but
yeah. Fuck, why are you so nice?
yeah.
So
But
much.
if it was outside of that, man, I'd probably go with just somebody I've always looked up to artistically or something, David Bowie or somebody, just to hang out with them for a while. Because it's
tattooing David Bowie would be cool as fuck.
Well, tattooing somebody, man, it's really cool because it's kind of like riding in a car with someone for 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah, like, and you
It's
get
like
this,
you got to make small talk, and then sometimes you end up being friends with people.
well, and no
stuff.
matter what, like something you did is on them forever.
Yeah, it's
like you're connected forever, no matter what.
Yeah,
I didn't even think about it being like that. Like it just being a long car ride.
yeah.
It's
Like I didn't even think
It's
that's
heavier
a really
than
good
you
analogy.
think.
Yeah.
Like talking about being connected with them and stuff. Like I try not to take that for granted because it's
the best. Yeah, obviously a big part of it. Otherwise, the job is just art. Right?
Yeah,
Otherwise,
yeah.
the job is just drawing.
well, it's like a lot of times, man. It's like sometimes the imagery and whatever ain't important, but like you're helping somebody
Fucking
like
context,
change their life. Like a lot of times, people come to me or any tattoo artist, and it's like bad breakup. Just got a bad.
You're a
hand dealt.
therapist.
I don't
Yeah.
want Susie's
And
name.
Yeah, I've heard
no,
stuff,
really.
man, too.
Yeah.
People let it loose after a while, and it's just like,
I've been saying
You should
this
talk
for
to
a
your
long
lawyer.
time
Whoa.
that tattoo artists are therapists.
Yeah, especially
You really
if it's
are.
somebody you're used to, right? If it's somebody who
yeah.
like comes to you all the time, they tell you shit that like you're
Oh
like,
yeah, I've heard stuff that's like would put people in jail had it came to light.
Oh, no doubt.
I don't think you should tell me this.
Yeah,
It's like,
but I respect patient. What's that? That doctor
Is it almost
confidentiality?
Yeah.
That's kind of another thing that I wonder about is like at
you go by
times.
HIPAA.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Does like HIPAA apply here?
Yeah, well, I don't know if it does, but like
I don't think
it's
so.
like
I wouldn't think so, but I mean, like,
I've told in public and like to other customers or just like my friends sitting around like a funny story at work, but I won't ever tell like
Well, sure.
who it was.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
sometimes it'd be damning to them or just embarrassing. But I mean, it's a funny story, but I won't drop the name or anything.
what's the funniest thing that you've ever had happen to you while tattooing? Funniest story ever.
I've seen
period.
some shit, man.
Like, literally.
Yeah.
Quite literally.
Well, one thing is like a lot of people don't know this, man, and it's happened to me and then other people, it's like there's memes about it and stories on the internet too. It's like you kind of wind up in people's kinks sometime, man.
Oh,
It's kind of weird.
I'm going to need you to elaborate.
Well, it's like, just for example, like Chicken Dude come in, and he's maybe like wanting her to get like something in a risque sort of spot, it'd be like sexy to him or whatever.
yeah.
And she might not even be that into it. Just like, I'm getting a tattoo. And it's like, it's just odd at first, It's
Dude's
like,
over in
Yeah,
the
it's
corner
kinda
getting
fucked.
bricked up.
yeah. Well, it's like, you're just sitting there doing your job. I'm trying to like do nice, straight, clean, consistent lines and do nice dark shading that's smooth.
Even if you want this a quarter inch from your thigh,
yeah.
but you didn't shave.
And then like the next thing you know, he's just like looking at her, licking his lips and stuff, and she's just like,
excuse me, sir.
just like into that too, and you're just like, oh God, I was just at work, man, and now I'm in this thing.
Who has my headphones?
Yeah. So yeah, stuff like that's weird. But the craziest thing, sort of along those lines, was it's been years ago. I was very early on, man, probably like a year or two in, and right when like Haywood first started like leaving me alone at the shop, not really.
Trust is
Check,
developed.
Yeah. So I'm just sitting there one day. It's like
What was he thinking?
it's like midday on a Thursday. This girl comes in with this older guy, and I don't think anything of it.
Immediately know who it is.
I figure it's her dad, just based on everything I'm seeing and hearing.
I'm terrified where this is heading.
And then, she starts wanting this tattoo, I'm like, okay, I can do that, blah, blah, blah. And then we get the tattoo designed, everything agreed on, get her in the chair, start tattooing her. It's on the side of her leg, like below
inside.
the knee and above the ankle bone, but on the side. It's very not painful spot. It's one of the easiest spots. So
Right.
it's
It's like right around the calf,
Yeah.
but a little bit more on the side.
yeah, so it's very easy spot, and she instantly is just like, just freaking out, screaming, just high pitched, kind of like moaning and just losing it.
no.
And then the dude's sitting in the lobby and she'd been calling him dad and stuff. And she's like, starts moaning like, Daddy, come back here. Oh, Daddy, come back here. And I'm just sitting there like,
No.
oh God. And then so he starts coming back there, and she's like holding his hand. People hold other people's hands
Yeah.
during tattooing
Sure,
sometimes.
sure. Which you don't think is abnormal. At that
No,
point.
that's not abnormal. But then she just starts screaming, oh, Daddy. Oh, Daddy. And it's like, I'm just trying to do this tattoo. And she's kind of like moving around and stuff. And it was just,
Fuck.
it's just the most awful scenario. And this is like an hour and a half, 2 hour tattoo I'm doing.
And that's
So
10
it's-
minutes into it.
Well, listen, I've heard of
that's
masseuse
like the
therapists
10 to
triggering
25
people
minutes.
and getting people to that point. But like,
Yeah, it was just
tattoos
so
is
weird.
not one of those things that
So did
I
you
would think
ever
we'd get there.
Find out if it was like,
I mean, there had to have been some sort of relation,
even
like
if it was her actual dad, it was still like,
there's something up. Like, if I had a kid and they were talking to me that way and acting that way, I'd feel weird, That was like the worst. I mean, there's other funny stuff, but that was just like
Did you rush through that one?
Did you really find that funny, or is like that feels more cringe than funny? It's funny
awful
to tell it now.
Yeah, it was awful at the time. Like, I wasn't laughing at all. I was just like, Lord, please hurry up here.
John, don't ever leave me here again. That's going to happen all the time.
Like, we go through like the niche versions of customers and stuff. Like we've talked about, like our Mount Rushmore customers, bad employees, and things like that. But I know you guys definitely have like the stereotypical customers, right?
Oh yeah, there's
like the crier, the smelly person. Like, I'm sure y'all go through the whole entire full gamut of that. Is hygiene really an issue? Like,
to an extent, yeah. It's a little surprising.
Depends on where you're going to tattoo them too. Right?
Yeah. Like if I'm just tattooing somebody's forearm, I'm not really like up on anything. Sometimes you can smell, like I'm a smoker, but like sometimes you're tattooing somebody's forearm, you're sort of hovering above their hand, like you can smell burnt cigarette kind of smell, which is gross even as a smoker. You know.
Hold my. I want you to tattoo like right behind my boob and like under my arm, and it's like lift their arm up and it just stinks. Obviously,
I've smelled some underarm. I smelled a lot of feet. Feet.
I gotta wear this mask for my safety.
Yeah,
just put a fucking mask on.
Yeah, feet. Because it's one of those things. I'd say
people really had an advantage during COVID, didn't they?
They did.
And it feels like
they got away free with it.
They got away with shit all the time.
Yeah.
Farted a lot more in public during COVID. You didn't feel like you farted a lot more in public during COVID?
Probably, yeah.
Nobody's gonna smell it. Everybody's wearing a mask. I think it's fine.
But sometimes, like another thing is like, and it's one of those things like not necessarily that they're unhygienic, but like after lunch, your breath might have some onion on it. I get some breath sometimes.
Just neck tattoo.
Like I said,
but it's one of those things. If I'm getting theirs, they're getting mine, so we're even.
Neck tattoo seems like the weird because like the personal space you have to be in to do a neck tattoo.
Yeah. It's not fun, and that skin is super stretchy. And like moves a lot, so it's just hard.
So you brought up something else right there too that I've seen a lot online. Is there like a hidden creed, pretty much, where like you will not tattoo neck, face, hands, and stuff like that until you've seen someone get a lot of tattoos? Because that's one thing I've seen a lot, like on like I guess you'd call it tattoo talk and other things, where someone's never had a tattoo in their life and they come in and they want something on their neck. Yeah, there is that tattoo TikTok. Like it's very prevalent. Are you stuck in it? Oh yeah, I love it. I think it's phenomenal. But like you'll see someone that's never had a tattoo and they'll come in there like, all right, I want my neck done. And some artists will flat out say no.
Yeah, a lot of us won't do that.
The first tattoo.
We call them within the industry job stoppers. Hands, face, neck. Yeah, we won't do that. Sometimes even forearm.
What about my wrist?
No, I'll do that for you. I mean, that's not going to affect you.
It's going to be really small.
Yeah, that's not going to negatively affect your life.
I'll just keep my
That's
hands
what I try to look out for, But then it's like,
hands face down.
I'll tell you a funny story about a face tattoo for the first tattoo. If you want to hear.
You were waiting. I was just waiting when he brings it.
He's expecting us to stop him.
So I didn't do the tattoo, but Haywood did, man. And it's so funny, just the way it went down. So this guy comes in. No visible tattoos. He's in shorts and a t-shirt. And he's like, man, I want to get something above my eyebrow, like a word or whatever.
That's next level, though.
Haywood's like, man, you don't really have no other visible tattoos that can have a real negative effect on your life. Like, it can help. It can hurt you.
Cool, though,
just the layer of responsibility in that, though. Cool, I think it's so cool. Well, that's why I was kind of curious if that was like really a thing.
The guy was like, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I've been drawing a check since the day I was born. I don't ever have to work. And so Haywood was just like,
what do you say?
Fuck it, let's do it.
Let her rip.
And then here's the other part, and I'm not trying to make fun of anybody, but it was a word, right? So
please
something we
misspelled.
No, as something we do as artists is like, hey, is this spelled right? Go over it real good before we go live here, And that guy looked at it and he goes, I'm going to be honest with you. I can't read.
Oh.
So John was just like, no, hell with it. So,
I guess it's spelled right.
Yeah.
It said Sasquatch on his head. He wanted Fox.
But, that's a funny outlier to like most respectable artists and shops. Like, Yeah, if you don't have any tattoos, and we're not going to put something on your knuckles
Because
first
fuck
run.
it. He
You
said,
know?
you draw check my whole life. I'm not worried about working anyway. All right, fuck it. Let's do it.
Well, I mean, you can't argue with him. And
I love the honesty.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if I was like, I guess that's why only rich people have face tattoos.
Yeah.
Or people who, or people who don't work.
Yeah, yeah.
That's generally.
Well, it's like one of
guess
those
it's
things.
not
It's like I try to
generally true, but-
use that guideline, but it's also like I try not to be everybody's judge and jury too.
Sure.
You know. But like I don't want to be part of something that's going to affect you.
Well, I
negatively,
think, like you said, the
know?
way he said it was that's the way to educate. Right? It was like,
Yeah.
hey, this might negatively affect your life.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll do it if you really want me to. But you're not going to be able to work at the bank.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
yeah.
they are not going to hire you.
But you know, also this same guy, I haven't seen him but one time since then, and he was in a real sketchy situation.
Yeah.
You know?
Of course it was.
So
It was a mug shot, wasn't it?
he was being crammed into a cop car,
Yeah.
somewhat, not violently, but it wasn't just like a man.
He was being coerced.
It wasn't come sit in the car with me.
Yeah, yeah. It was like, come on, man. But
So-
you know, so stuff like that. You know.
Last question, and then we can transition on at this
We have
point.
3 last questions.
Yeah,
So we
this I swear this is the last
final
one.
question.
This is the last one.
You have a lifeline?
No. Is there anything that you right now, or even still at this point, maybe over your career, that you 100% want a tattoo, but you've not found the right person for it?
Man, you know, in a way, that's sort of like what I'd say, like my dream niche to feel would be. Is sort of that is like, and you know, I don't care to like do what anybody wants. That by no means,
sure.
like I'm happy to do what design you want, work with you, let's get it on you, let it look nice. But then it's like I also have like an art style that I would be
Prefer to
real
do.
cool if like one day I could just get to where I did that.
And you were just known for doing that.
Yeah, and it's like a lot of it's sort of similar imagery that all sort of goes together.
Yeah.
Because ultimately it can become your calling card.
Yeah, yeah.
That's one of the biggest things that I've seen is a lot of people, you want to be flexible and open to do
Yeah.
whatever. But like the one I've got, it's more line work than anything.
yeah.
And me and Richie even talked about it. He's like, you know, this is not my niche.
Yeah.
I'm a realistic guy.
Yeah.
Now, if I was ever go back and probably want to do realism, I think Richie's phenomenal.
Oh, yeah,
for
he's
that. And
awesome at
that's
it, yeah.
100% where I want to go if I go that route again. But then there's other people that have really exquisite line work, and that's what they're known for.
Yeah.
Like every time I look at the stuff that comes out of your shop, it's the color that gets me.
Yeah, we do a lot of color
It's the
stuff.
color, the vibrant colors and things like that really kind of, I think, sets you guys apart in that, you know, realm. So that's kind of one thing that I just wonder. I feel like, you know, me and Dusty think about things like all the time, like this is our dream. We love it, enjoy doing
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Like, what would be our ultimate goal? Like, what would be the ultimate show that we would like to put together? I have to imagine you with an artistic
Yeah.
sense. You have, all right, this is the one project I want to do.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's probably not even something that you want on you. It's something you want to put on someone
yeah,
else.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully next time we have you on, it's like
I found it.
you're at the level where
Yeah.
you're just like,
I've been
"Man, I'm just doing these."
actually I went through a really bad period of burnout recently that I just came out of. I've actually been taking these like online courses from tattoo artists from around the
Oh,
world.
cool as fuck.
So like
Awesome.
what I'm trying to do right now, and I'm baby steps at it, toe in
Yeah.
the water right now, but it's like I'm trying to get to that point where I am
Very cool.
doing that, because for so long I've been just like, oh yeah,
Well,
whatever.
your art, like you're an artist in a bunch of different platforms, and like your art, I love like your actual art too, like your canvas shit.
Thank you.
Like
man.
I love that
It's
shit.
like
There's-
what we saw a while ago. I thought that was phenomenal.
yeah, there's a bunch of pieces that I've like have told you that I was like, I'd fucking love to just have that.
Yeah, see, it's like I haven't been painting this last little burnout
Yeah.
I was talking about, so I'm trying to get like right now I'm still not painting, but in my head I'm like gearing up to like really kick ass and
Yeah.
get out a bunch of shit, you know.
That's gonna be awesome. And then
But
you're playing music as well.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
a ton with
yeah,
your band.
yeah. That's been the other.
Does that help kind of fuel creative fire for
well-
the tattoo side?
Well, in a way, what it did for me was because I've been playing music most of my life, but then I took a big chunk of time off, really when I was getting into tattooing,
Yeah.
and I was noodling around, but I didn't really have an active band and stuff. So what it did was I was real gung ho tattoo and just like I was telling y'all, just nonstop eat, sleep, breathe, tattooing and painting and stuff. And then I sort of got to a point where it's like I was dried up. I was like a dry sponge. It's just like nothing else to squeeze out of it. And then I started playing music again more seriously. And then it like lit a creative fire back in me.
I love that, man.
And
I love it.
Now it's like I burn off some of that like
And it
staleness on
and
me
it helps
with that.
working with other people who love the same shit you do,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And love the same
And
music.
it's a creative process. And like the way I look at a creative process, whether it be a painting, music, or like even like you guys formatting a show, or like even talking about ideas to do for a show, that's all a creative process. And I think it's all the same thing, even though there's just different
shit, no matter what it is. No matter
or even
what
like we're talking about magic, like building a deck's creative process. It's like a painting too, you know, or something to me. So it's like, music helped me with that a lot. I love you, man.
I'm so frustrated that I've still not got to see you guys live. It's
man.
like, I know, like we were talking about it, and I brought my buddy up multiple times on the show. I have a buddy named Nick. We all call him Pants affectionately. It's Pants.
It's because he doesn't wear pants.
That's
what's funny about
it's because he's got no legs is what it is. I think it's like the poor kid has to roll his pants up 15 times. Dude, I love you. I'm sorry. But like, I know you guys kind of tour hitting certain CDs and stuff and do a lot of the shows and stuff together. And I feel so bad because every single time he's like, hey man, we got a show coming up. My kid's got a ball game in Guam. Yeah. like I'm just randomly somewhere. So I'm hoping to catch you guys at some point. Oh, it's awesome.
It's rough.
Shout out your band and where you guys are going to tour.
Yeah. So my band is Buzzhound. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook. We got some YouTube videos, some live stuff, and music video and stuff.
We'll share some links on our stuff
Absolutely.
too. So just take a look for that.
We're gearing up right now. Summer's the busiest time, so we're creeping into being almost every weekend for the next few months, and we got some shows coming up. I don't know when this will be out, but
and
the
you
next
guys got
one,
some shit online, right?
yeah,
You
you can hear us on all your Spotify, iTunes,
I listened on Spotify the
Apple
other day.
Music, whatever.
And for those that's not heard anything, what would you basically state the style, stylization of the music is?
It's it's kind of just rock and roll, really. Motorhead kind of stuff, and heavier.
I love it. Fucking
Listen, I've watched so many documentaries like over the last week of Lemmy and Triple H.
Oh yeah, man,
and like the design for King of Kings and the game and all that stuff. You had me at Motorhead.
I listened to so little music outside of what I listened to when I was 17.
That's the thing, man. Is I still listen to all the stuff.
All my playlists are just when I was 17. That's what.
And then anything new I find out because it was like I didn't know about it, but the bands I like, that's what they were jamming.
Yeah.
So it's like not even that far from.
Yeah, and that's what I listened to Buzzhound and then your buddy's band Appalachian.
Appalachian.
That's so hard to say.
I struggle every time I read it. I'm like, well, I just can't be saying that right.
You should hear it, man. Like I was in that band for a little bit. When they started trying to help
Season of the Witch.
Yeah, everybody's Season of the Witch. We played somewhere in Appalachian and they had like an actual like stage announcer guy.
Oh,
and he was like, next we have half a star.
Half a story. Apple.
And then someone reviewed it on some sort of online thing and butchered it real bad. I can't even remember how they did it.
I can only imagine.
Which makes it better.
Yeah.
Kind of somehow.
But it's, people away from here say Appalachia and stuff instead of Appalachia.
I heard the word Louisville get said 6 different ways during the NFL draft last night.
Oh, man.
Louisville.
Louisville. Yeah, they butchered that one.
It's barely Kentucky anyway.
Nah, I don't consider Kentucky at all.
So, what, you play a ton of instruments. Right?
Yeah, I play about anything.
If I can just pick shit up.
Yeah, I would just, at some point, you learn music and then you just learn the technique for that instrument.
God, I wish I was good at anything.
I'm not good at anything at all.
It'd be awesome if I was good at anything. I wish I could
I can play most instruments, but I'm a bass player.
Yeah.
So I picked the one everybody's like, oh yeah, you just boom, boom, boom.
Slapping the bass.
Just get to look like Flea out there.
Yeah, man, I wish.
Smacking it. He's a legend, right? He's incredible.
Dude,
my brain is stuck in mid-90s rock. and I just can't get out of it, man. Like I'm
My
still
heart and
stuck in
soul's
90s
there
grunge.
too, man.
90s grunge, it's where I'm stuck. I can't.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite bass player?
Of all time,
Yeah.
man, I don't know, dude.
That's tough, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's so many.
Yeah.
You have to pick one or you
What's the
die
guy
in
from
5
What's the guy
minutes.
from Limp Bizkit?
Did they even have a bass player?
No, he
No,
was wild as shit.
Probably, man, Cliff Burton from the original Metallica
God,
bassist.
Wish he was
I
as
don't
good
know
as
if
Limp
Limp Bizkit. I can't remember the bassist, but the guitarist they had. I want to say his
Monkey.
name was Wes Borland.
It
West
was,
Borland.
yeah.
Wes Borland. They called him like the fourth tongue of Kali Cobb or something like that a long time ago. Dude was insane.
Yeah, he looks wild and stuff.
Like he looked wild, but I think he was way too good for Limp Bizkit.
yeah.
Like man
Yeah.
had no business being there.
Played drums and was in multiple bands in high school. It was like, everybody else was, but just played trap set all the time.
Yeah.
Because bang on shit.
Yeah, why don't you play no more music no more, man?
Oh man, I'm lazy. I don't have time.
Drummers are hard to
I don't know
find
what I would
too.
do. I know drummers are hard to find, but good drummers are hard to find. I'm not one of those. Like everybody wants to play the drums with us. Come play the drums with us. I'm like, you didn't hear me play the drums. I don't feel like you want me to play.
It was like, I used to have one in my closet.
A drum set?
Not a set, but an actual snare.
Oh,
Like I was in a band when I was in middle school and the first part of high school. Everybody's like, "Yeah, man, you need to play drums in the band." I'm like, "There's a big difference between playing a marching band snare drum and an actual drum set."
yeah. I played trap set like in pep band and shit in high school. It was just like played the whole time with Jeremy Paul Wright played the guitar. JP. Shout out Jeremy Paul played the guitar and
God,
and Justin McNeely.
I was
played
about
for
to
a
say
little while.
McNeely. I remember
Fucking
back in the
McNeely.
day.
McNeely, you know him?
Yeah, I remember
He
him
used to
a
be able
little
to
bit,
fucking wail. He could play.
Yeah.
Like
nuts.
I asked him one day because he played, obviously for the local football team, and they always ran out to Crazy Train. And I asked him one day. I said, does that ever get sick? Like you just not? He's like, I swear to God, I could go the rest of my life and never hear the song Crazy Train ever again.
Yeah, we played it so much. We played Crazy Train.
How do you do that, like with your own songs? Does it get to a point where you're like, God, I don't want to play this shit anymore?
Yeah, well, when you're in your own band writing your own stuff,
Yeah.
you get tired of a song, you just stop playing it.
And then the fans are like, and there's one fan that's like, "That's my favorite song."
Yeah,
and I said,
yeah.
"Well, we fucking hate it." So
Well,
we-
it's like-
we went and watched Slipknot live, and they didn't play Wait and Bleed, and I thought the place was going to burn down.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
people lost
Well,
their
it's 'cause-
mind.
Well, when you're in a bigger band, man, it's like you go see Kiss. I want to hear rock and roll all night.
Well, sure.
Party every day or whatever.
Yeah.
You know?
But then when a band's been around, like I'm going to see Blink like in
Oh.
July,
Hell yeah, man.
and I was like, "There's no way they're going to."
Did the original guy got back with them?
Yeah, it's Mark, Tom, and Travis. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, man.
it's Mark, Tom, and Travis. And I paid out my fucking ass for
I
tickets.
guarantee it. Yeah.
But I was like, I'm never going to see them again.
Yeah.
It's never going to happen.
I want to hear the Enema of the State full album live.
I just, how could they play? Like, they can't play everything I like.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
no way
There's
they're going to
not
play
enough
everything I
time.
like, right? Because like they have like 15 albums and I like every song from every
Yeah.
single album. So it's like they're not going to play stuff from Cheshire Cat
favorite
Yeah,
Blink
yeah.
song.
that I love. My favorite Blink
Favorite
song,
Blink song.
dude. Oh, so there's some stuff from like old stuff.
I triggered a memory here. Like,
He's tearing up.
I triggered a story here.
There's some Carousel. You know the song Carousel?
Yeah.
Carousel's one of my all-time favorite songs, and that's like that always feels like a flex to me
Yeah.
when I say that's my favorite Blink song because like most people have never even heard that fucking
Because
song
it's obscure.
because it's obscure and it sounds like they recorded it in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? It sounds awful. Like the
Yeah,
sound
well,
quality.
even Dude Ranch isn't great
right, dude.
recording.
I think they recorded it in somebody's garage. That's what I think the whole time.
Like, man, damn it, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
fucking.
an anthem.
That's what I'm saying. Don't everybody want to go? And you blame me for paying a bunch for this fucking ticket?
No, dude. I went and seen last year. Went and seen two bands, two different shows. I thought I'd never get to see. So
Who'd you see?
went and seen Judas Priest and Corbin.
Fuck yeah.
That was crazy. It was
I
like their
know.
50th
Corbin
anniversary
is
of their
lit.
first album.
Corbin gets fucking.
I know, man.
everybody.
Yeah, and like a few weeks later, Anthrax played out there.
We went to that freaking wrestling tournament over there, and I was like, why would there be anything here? And you walk into that freaking
It's huge.
Coliseum, and it's
Snoop
massive.
Dogg.
Yeah, Snoop is there.
Dogg is there.
Yeah.
Like, they get a bunch of
The
people.
one that kills me and hurts me so bad, you know this is my favorite band of all time, Dusty, is knowing that I've seen Foo Fighters for the last time without Taylor Hawkins.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah,
Like not being able to see
I
him
seen him
ever
live,
again.
too.
Like that bothers me a ton. My favorite Blink song of all time, and I think it's just because it was one of the first songs I ever downloaded on Napster. Was Adam's song.
You're so old.
I'm old. I love the Adams song. I remember going to like one of my aunt and uncle's house and downloading Napster on their computer and pirating this song and downloading it. Yeah. And I left, and then I didn't realize what
3
the
days
lyrics
later
was
it
about.
downloaded.
I didn't realize what Adam's song was about. And I get home, and my mom and dad sit me down. They're like, "Are you having any angst issues?"
Blink shit is like the stuff I listen to when I'm sad and want to be sadder.
Yeah.
Like,
but it also makes you happy too.
My whole
in a way.
family thought I was going to kill myself.
Stay together for the kids. Like, I have a good marriage, but stay together for the kids is like my favorite song.
Yeah.
That's so good.
The song sounds great.
So good. One thing, like with the band and stuff like that, do you guys try to do purely original, or do you ever get in a situation where you're in a place and someone's screaming, "Freebird! Freebird!"
I think anyone who's ever graced a stage has heard the Freebird. You know,
You motherfuckers play Freebird all the time, don't you?
You would be surprised at how many. We actually have a thing coming out maybe next year called Skinnerd Worship.
Oh, yes.
Oh, man.
It's just 3 Skinnerd songs we cover.
That's awesome.
Because that's like one of all of our
What about
favorite
Wonderwall?
bands.
Would you play Wonderwall?
No, well, we do one cover every set, always. And we have.
I want to get a whole group together to yell Wonderwall.
Oh, man, I'm not a big Oasis guy.
That surprises me.
But it's like the go-to.
I just think that the one guy is such a bastard dick, you know, that.
I don't know anything. I don't know anything about Oasis. I just like that.
There's 2 brothers and one of them.
Gallagher.
There's 2 brothers and one of them's like the most biggest dickhead ever.
Yeah, I don't trust them immediately if they're in Gallagher.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a Gallagher. I'm pretty sure they're British, right? So that's even more reason.
Oasis. I'm sure they're British. Who names the band Oasis?
Yeah, they're British. Yeah.
So before we go, real quick, plug both band, but also if you want to plug the tattoo business. Man.
Okay. Yeah. So you can find me on the internet for professional reasons.
Most awkward lead in ever.
Or to trade wrestling.
He's like, you can message me here, but God, this is the part of the job that I hate so bad.
Well, I mean, I'm happy to do it, but if you need to get at me, Russ Griswold on Facebook and Old Griswold on Instagram, you can get me there. Shoot me a message. You can see some of the work I've done, some of my art and stuff, and then if you're interested in hearing some of my musical venture stuff, Buzzhound on Instagram or Facebook, or you can come out and see us. We play locally at Summit City once in a while. We're
killer show, man. Those shows are fucking awesome.
Yeah, we try to
We gotta
raise
go
plenty
next
hell.
one. I need you to hold me to it.
We'll go to one.
Yeah, I think we're playing August with Season of the Witch at Summit.
Be awesome.
Yeah, we got to actually go on tour with them at the end of July, going to Asheville, Nashville, Knoxville, Johnson City.
Oh, that shit! Poppin' Tri-City popping tour.
Yeah, so that's gonna be.
I love Asheville.
Oh yeah, man.
You guys gonna stay in the shittiest hotels, aren't you?
I bought a van.
Oh, it's even better.
I don't think there's real art unless you have a van.
Man, well, my thing is like, so we were talking earlier. I think we were outside. It's like, if you were rich, how would this be? It's like, man, if I was, don't know if I necessarily want to be rich because I wouldn't make art or music.
Yeah. Oh, right.
Because like, to me, it's like, what's the point? It's like,
I just want enough to get out of debt because where we live, if you hit the Powerball, you would have to move.
Yeah.
Or B, hire like the Men in Black to protect your children because some crackhead's going to kidnap your kids and hold them hostage.
Yeah.
I know all the crackheads too.
Like it's yeah.
I would buy a holler
and
and put a castle wall at the mouth of the holler.
So all around me, because of the flood, everybody's gone. So I could just put a wall up around this whole block.
Yeah.
You could.
So that's my plan if I get rich. Well, if it ever happens.
Man, we've loved having you. Like this is.
Thank y'all for having me, man.
Awesome,
it's
man.
Fun. It's good hanging out with y'all. I ain't seen y'all in a
I'm
minute.
glad you came up and got lost.
Yeah.
Everybody does it, so don't feel bad. Like usually it takes people.
You should
over.
put a house number on your house.
I'm gonna put a house number on my house, but I might put a different house number to fuck with people.
86.
Screw 911. I don't need them here. Hey, you all. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Russell, loved it, man. Great time. Rhino, thanks for being here. Andy P, man, what the fuck?
Failure.
Thank you all for tuning in. Really, Follow us we're on Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple. What's that shit called? What is it? Apple Podcast? Apple?
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. iHeartRadio.
It's the purple icon on your iPhone.
It's the purple icon on your iPhone. Just type in pod and it will pop up.
You can listen to us for free everywhere, right? Follow us on Instagram. You get some exclusive pictures and shit. And then Patreon also. You get some exclusive some exclusive segments and everything on Patreon. So we have a good time over there and a good following. And yeah, guys, thank you all so much for your support.
Kind of plug an episode real quick because I know this is something we've been looking at, especially since we just hit 3,000 downloads.
Fuck yeah.
100% sometime over the next week or so, we're going to try to be releasing something specifically for the Patreon where we've not really had a good stab at movies yet. We've been talking about a whole lot about our love for movies, especially, we make a lot of comments about things like Office Space and things like that. So be looking out for that episode where we really kind of talk about our favorite movies that really are influenced by the workforce and workplace.
And favorite jobs about quitting and shit. That's always fun.
Oh, yeah.
You got anything else, fellas? Y'all got anything, Russ?
Good luck and good night.
Appreciate y'all coming on. Hey, remember, guys, ain't nobody stopping you from quitting your job but you.